Hello everyone, in this video I will show you the basics of JSON inside of n8n, how to applicate it, how to benefit from it, and how to understand it. So let's get straight into it. I will try to keep it as simple as possible and as fast as possible. Okay, so I'll break this video down into 4 sections. The first one is just the basics. How can we use JSON and what is JSON? Then the second one is JSON data types. I will explain to you all of the data types, how to use them, etc. Then how to upload and update JSON and how to manipulate different data. So let's get straight into it. First, I've set it up some sample data in here. So let's open it up. We already have it as JSON. Now, if you are just starting out in n8n or in computer science, etc., this might be pretty confusing and pretty scary. And yeah, it is, but don't worry, once I explain it to you, you will understand that it is super simple. So let's get straight into it. First, what I want to tell you and explain to you are the keys and valuables. So we have different keys and different values inside of JSON. So for example, a key is email and the value is johnexample.com. Now, why do we need to know this? Because as we can see, we have different key colors and different value colors. So we have to differentiate these two. Now, if we would to say, for example, here we can see we have the email and we have the email again here for a different client. So if I want to change this, I want to change this key to email key. So email key. And this one I want to change to email value. I'm just making stuff up. Okay, now I will save this, and what will happen is once we try to, for example, send an email, so let's get Gmail node in here and send message, and we will go to we will drag and drop the email key. Then we will not be sending two different emails to two different email addresses, because now we have only one. So we will be just sending email to johnexample.com but not to sarahexample.com. So if we want to send email to sarahexample.com, we have to drag here email value. And again, now we won't be sending over an email to email key johnexample.com. So this is just the basics. I mean, you need to understand this if you ever want to change some stuff in your JSON. It is pretty much everything. It is super simple. I just wanted to explain this, and that's about it in the basics. Now basically, JSON is like a language for storing data, language for computers and AI and everything similar to this. So they understand data based on JSON. Now it is okay to understand for us humans also, but computers, this is their language. Okay, now let me explain to you different data types and how to differentiate them. So first, we have the number. Now this can be any number, whole or decimal. So for example, 3.64 or 55. So whole and decimal. It is super simple. Now let's get back to n8n and JSON and show you how to differentiate the numbers. So number most of the time will be in the green color. Always, not most of the time. So as you can see here, ID in the green color, login count 12 in the green color, amount, we can see now it is decimal, so 99.99. Here it is whole. And yeah, this is how you differentiate it in the JSON. Now let's go to normal schema inside of n8n, and we differentiate numbers by this hashtag. They always have a hashtag in front of them. So amount, hashtag, ID, login count, etc. Okay, now let's get to the another data type, which is the most used probably and the most popular. It is string, which is basically normal text inside of quotes, either words or sentences or whatever. Just the plain text inside of quotes, like hello, like cat, etc, etc. Now let me go to the JSON and explain how it works and how we can differentiate it. So for example, we have the John here, it is inside of quotes and it is this purple color. This means that it is a string or text. The same for the email, the same for this date, the same for this ID, same for again the names and everything. It is super simple to differentiate this. It is the most popular data type probably out there, and yeah, just if it is in quotes and in purple color, it is for sure a string. Okay, now let's go to the schema, and it will have a in front of it. So right here, a, so string, a string, a string. This is with everything. A string, a string. Okay, now let's go to another data type, which will be Boolean, which is, I'm sure you are familiar with this. It is true or false. Now you can use this logic in any type of automation, for example, AI voice agent. If he books a meeting, then it is true. If he doesn't book a meeting, then it is false. If we sent an email before, it is true. If we didn't, it is false. Stuff like that, super simple. Now again, it is super simple to differentiate this. It is two in a green color, and it isn't in quotes. Now if we were to change this into quotes, what would happen is it would become a string. So let's change this into quotes. Let's save it up, and we can see it is now purple. Instead of quotes, it is a string. The same with the numbers. So if we would change this and put quotes in here, then it would become a string and normal text and no longer a number. So let's delete it and keep it the way it was. That was just an example. Okay, then we have object. Object is basically a group of keys and values. What I mean by that, for example, like we have here, name, Anna, age, 12, or email, etc. So like we can see here, this whole thing is basically an object. So company, name, SME, CRM, active, true. This is an object because we have key, value, key, value. Now the next thing that is super similar to this, let me show you how you can differentiate this and the boolean. I forgot about that. Boolean is just a flag, a check thing, so you just check it off. That's the boolean, and for object it is this box. Now we have another thing which is array, another data type, which is almost similar to the object, but the only difference is array is a list of things in order, not name, not key and value, but now it is apple, banana, cherry. So for example, grocery number 1, grocery number 2, grocery number 3. Now in JSON we always count from 0, and let me show you how you can differentiate this inside of n8n. So let's go to JSON, and for example, array is always in these different type of brackets, more straight ones. And for example, here we have John, though this is for sure an array because we don't have key and value in here, we have just the value. The same for tags, so VIP, and that's about it. So this is how you differentiate the array, and yeah, it is super simple. In schema, it is these 3 lines like a hamburger, so with the 3 dots in the start. That is how we find the array. Now why did I talk to you about this whole thing, why it is important? Let me show you. Let's say we want to create an if node and change the route of our data. Now some data types don't play with the others. So for example, here we can choose string, number, date and time, boolean, array or object. If we would choose a string is equal to, and we would pull in, for example, the name, it would work just fine. So if the name is CRM, it is true branch, so it works just fine. But if we were to pull notifications, which is an object, we would get this error. Okay, so we have the same with the number. So if we would pull in this date from here, which we can see it is obviously a string because it is purple and it is in the quotes. then it wouldn't work because here we selected number. Now if you would take the actual number here, then it would work just fine. Now how can you go around this is basically convert types where required. You click this, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, it isn't really reliable, so I would choose the second route, which I will show you, which is a bit more complex. You have to do it manually, but it works perfectly. So for example, now we can pull in the date and it will change into, it won't, because as I said, sometimes it isn't reliable. But if you were to choose, for example, this boolean and to string exists, it is a boolean, but it will still work because it converted. This is pretty simple to convert, you just have to add the quotes. Okay, so that is working. Now the second route how I would do this is basically with this set node I have prepared for you guys. So let's open it up and we can see we have a few examples in here, and I will explain everything, go one by one with it and how it works. So in this set node we can change different data types and manipulate them. So number to text, for example, we would have to choose a string here because we want to change it to string, and we drag and drop the number we want to change. Now if we execute this step, we can see that in the JSON now it is in these quotes. So it is a string, it is a text, that's what we converted it into. Then we have array to text, so we will drag and drop some array, for example this one, no, this is object, for example this the name, so name Sarah Annie Lee, and we want to change it into string, so we execute this step and we can see now it is again inside of these quotes and the whole array is in here. Now it doesn't look really beautiful and isn't the best. I will show you how to go around this way to make it really beautiful and just change the array into a string with just Sarah, Annie and Lee, but that's later. Object to text, so let's just take the object like company and it will again change into this, so the name ASME CRM active true, so the whole thing is copied in here. It is again inside of quotes and it is purple, so it is for sure a string. Next thing we can do is combining text. Next thing I want to show you, so for example in JSON or in whatever JavaScript, when you send over these two, it is from now on JavaScript or code, etc. And if you want to, for example, combine 2 plus not equals plus 2, then we would get 22. But obviously 22 plus 2 isn't 22, right? It is 4. So why does this happen? Well, because we have it as a string. So we are combining text. So it is the same as we would do best company. Now it will be just this. So best company. We are basically combining text. So the twos are just text. Now we can execute this and we will come back with best company in quotes, another string. Then combining numbers, we have to pick here the number. And we will again want to copy this thing, but change these, delete the quotes obviously, because then it would be string, you're right. And we just want to do, for example, 2 plus 2. And now we can see it is 4. So it understands and it is 4. This is with the number, we can execute this step and it will be here in green, even not quotes, just 4. So that's how it works in computer science. I mean, it is a bit weird, but if you understand the hang of it, it is good. Okay, but then we have different functions. So for example, joining an array. So we have some array like the name. So John, middle, this is the first name, then we have middle name, and then we have the last name. We want to drag and drop it in here. And if we would execute this step, we would get again this not as beautiful thing. Now this is the part where I talk to you about functions. So we would add dot join, dot join like this, and we can see now it is a bit better. But what we want to do is inside of these two brackets, we want to add the thing we want to separate them with. So for example, dot and space. Oh no, we have to add it into quotes, sorry about that. So dot and space. Now they will be separated with dot and space, or just space. Then we will be separated with just space. If we execute this step, it will be pretty beautiful, because now it is just a normal string. This could be pretty useful with the name, for example, so we can send it to, I don't know, AI agent or whatever. Then we have another function which is text to array. Now here we want to take some array, some text, and change it into array. So for example, let's take this date, 2022/11/1. Send it over. Now if you were to execute this, we would get the whole date, nothing special. Or it wouldn't work because this is an array. So we would get this, but it isn't really array, it is just normal string. Okay, so what we want to do is add a dot, split, and this is basically the exact opposite of this. So the split is exact opposite of join. Now we want to, in these two brackets, differentiate or find the element or the thing that we want to separate them by. So for example, I know I said a really confusing way, but you will understand. For example, we can see we have these dashes in here. So if I were to add this in here, in quotes, again, sorry about that. If I were to add this in here, then we would have the year, we would have the month and the date separated by itself as an array. So let's execute this step, and we can see we have it as an array. So 2022, 11, and 1. Perfect. This is the thing I wanted to show to you now. JavaScript has a lot of built-in functions. You can just go to built-in functions, JavaScript. First side that you will see, there is a lot of stuff in here. You can go over this. Some are really helpful, some aren't, and it will just make your day much harder, but at least these two is worth to understand and to learn. I use them almost daily, they are pretty good. And yeah, so this is with the manipulating data. Now let's go to how to upload JSON, why would you want to upload JSON, etc. So let's open this set node. Now in here, normally we would have manual mapping, but we want to do JSON. And we have some example in here. You can play around with the example or create it yourself. So we would want to do email dash address value enters 11 gmail, sorry about that, gmail.com. So now we would have this execute step. We have the email address with the email address, but you don't want to create the whole JSON because it would take time. It is unnecessary. What you can just do, go to ChatGPT, create temporary or whatever chat. Hi Albert, please create a JSON mock data for my client. Include name, email, number, if they received email before from us, and what do we want to add? Some array, so text to their name. Now what we will do is create mock data like this for multiple clients. Now you can either do multiple or just one, so we can just copy this, come back to n8n, send it over, execute step, and we have some mock data in here. Now why would you want to add some JSON, etc.? Well, let's say you want to create an automation with, I don't know, Google Drive, and you don't have it set up. You don't know if the automation actually will work, so you just have to create some mock data. You can do it this way, or you can set up your Google Drive for 10 minutes. It might take even 10 minutes, and then figure out that it isn't working. So this is much simpler. You can do it just like this. Okay, now we can also update this data. Now you can either do it through the JSON, so just send over the whole JSON again like this, and change the stuff you want to change. So for example, name, you want to do name, I don't know, contact, you want to do email, contact, you want to do a number, phone number, let's say, so phone number, received email before, true, tags, VIP, newsletter. Okay, so then you just execute this step, I already did it, and you will have the name, contact, changed, email, contact, etc. So you will have this stuff changed. Now you can also add data into the triggers. So you can here click on this thing and add your mock data like this. This is a mistake, so let's delete it. But for example, like this, you will save it up and you have some mock data going into your manual trigger. You can change this with the webhook like I did, etc, etc. Now, I think this is about it. You know the basics now, and I think you are awesome. You can now build much better automations, or mostly much better understanding with the automations. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I will see you in some other video. Bye bye.